Welcome to the Big Sky Conference Men's Basketball Media Day. I'm Mike Lund, and we're talking with Portland State Vikings head coach Barrett Peary and junior guard Ian Burke today. Coach Peary is starting his fourth season at Portland State. Ian begins his second year with the Vikings. He's a 6'5" guard, originally from Phoenix, Arizona. And we will start off with you, Coach Peary. Probably the most obvious question of the day. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been about 7 months since you could work with your players and your team. Tell us the things that you've done to try to maintain some continuity in your program.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, fortunately for us, and Ian's on this call, as you know, but right now, the biggest thing for us was we had a good group of guys to get through the summer. It was very challenging, both mentally and physically, for them to try to navigate the waters of what was going to go on. You know, we had a couple different windows of opportunity to bring the guys back, but I still felt like they were better off at home than being here with their opportunities to get in gyms or weight rooms or whatnot and be at home. And so as we've gotten them all back just last week and getting them situated, I'm thankful for the group that we have, because I think it's a good group, a high character group. And they handled a very adverse type summer that was challenging for them all.
All right, Ian, I'll direct that same question to you. How have you been able to work out and stay sharp during your long layoff?
Yeah, it's been rough not being back, but Arizona didn't really shut down completely, as you know, so a lot of the gyms were still open. I was able to get in with my trainer and do a lot of stuff by myself, so it would have been nice to be back with the team and back with the guys, but I was able to, stay working hard, so that was good.
Coach Peary, the 2021 Vikings have had a large turnover on the roster, certainly. You made good use of that transfer portal and kind of rebuilt your team. And is that kind of the way of the future, or is this a one-time thing for you? Or how do you view recruiting these days in Division I basketball?
I think it'll always be very fluid, especially if the NCAA ends up changing that rule to where everybody will get that one-time transfer. It won't affect everybody, but it would affect a lot of guys nationwide. I think we'll always have a little bit of a flavor of a transfer type school. We're in such a good place, a city where guys want to come. We have Nike here, the Blazers here. We have a wonderful facility. And so I think we'll always be in that transfer market. To say we won't be traditional in recruiting and not have high school guys coming is not true. We'll always have a mix of both, but the transfer market was good to us this year. But and we did have a big recruiting class, but I think it's our best roster that we've had in 4 years from top to bottom. We have a lot of depth. We have a lot of talent, a lot of experience, good returners as well as good new guys. I love the mix, really, and it reminds me a lot, actually, of year one as far as what the talent looks like, and also like how we're going to be able to teach them this fall.
And in light of all the new players that you have, and with no summer workouts, it's got to be a real challenge for you to be able to blend this group together here, and really only in the space of approximately a month before you have competition.
Yeah, probably the hardest thing for me mentally is just, the basketball is basketball, and I've told this to the guys' face, they're good basketball players. Basketball is going to take care of itself. We're going to get them in shape. One thing that I've prided our program on is the relationship side, the experience side, and spending time with guys. Not having that this summer and early fall is challenging for me, selfishly speaking. I like to have our retreat. I like to have our times in my home and different things like that where we get to go know guys outside the gym. We're missing that a little bit, so that's going to be on the fly this year. We've had a hell of a Zoom summer, and our coaches have done a great job as the guys have been back, whether it's study hall or film about how we're going to play. We're using our time wisely, and the guys have done a good job handling that and managing that.
Okay, Ian, you played in all 32 games last year. You got 8 starts, and basically you're the most experienced returning player right now. What do you see as your role in helping this transition with all these new players? How can you help that transition?
Yeah, it's weird to hear that because I feel like I was, just the new guy here last year. But I'm looking forward to this year just to try to lead a little bit. Last year as a new guy, I wasn't able to do that, but I had a lot of upperclassmen and seniors that helped me out. And I'm hoping to do the same for these new guys. And a lot of them, don't need a lot of help. This is their 4th, 5th year in school. So just kind of be a stable piece in this thing and help those guys out.
Now, you are a transfer. You started your career in Seattle, but you came to Portland State, and perhaps you can provide some insight into, what appealed to you to come here to Portland State and is attracting all these other quality transfers.
Yeah. So I guess that first piece would be my old AAU teammate, Trey Wood, was here and he was loving it. And so when I decided to leave Seattle U, just trying to find a place, figure out what a good fit would be, he was a good voice in that for me. He said he was loving it. And I knew Jace a little bit from high school. He was an Arizona guy. And I came on a visit and it was really nice. I loved it. And it got better when I committed, just really liked the culture and it was a great fit. I got really lucky.
Okay, Coach, let's talk a little bit about some players now. Obviously, Ian being one of them, talk a little bit about your returning players and maybe who's going to play important roles for you this year.
That this returner group is probably our best leadership group we've had since I've been here. We've had different talent levels and different things like that. These returners are really good leaders, guys that have grown up and guys that have really handled the role as they've transitioned into it since we left Boise, basically. And so I haven't had the sleepless nights that some people thought you might have with this group, not being able to see them and touch them and be with them as much as you'd want. But their leadership has been very good, from Kyle to Ian to Trey to Skinny. The new guys, you and I spent the summer talking about. We have some really good Division I transfers: Khalid Thomas, Charles Jones, Amari, John Hall, Monty Scott, all these guys that come from Division I's, like Ian said, that really have good experience. And then I think that they were intelligent as they evaluated where they wanted to go. And we were able to beat some good teams on these guys. They came for the right fit and the right reasons. And our recruiting was really, really good this spring because of that. We picked up Jacob Iman from a junior college we had recruited prior to him going to Seattle as well. He was there at Seattle with 3 years to play, a big, long, big that fits how we play athletically. And then 2 really good freshmen in the fall last year at this time when we signed Kamani and Paris, guys that are very wise and very mature. And, Ian would tell you, somebody like Paris, I'm not sure if he's 18 or 28 when it comes to their maturity and their work ethic and things like that. So we have a really nice blend, and all summer long, even though there's some things that have been really awkward as far as not being together physically, the mix and the blend of these guys has been a very easy transition, I think.
Okay. Ian, it's no doubt going to be a very different season based on all that's gone on since the end of last season. For you personally, what would make this a successful season for you and your teammates?
That's a good question. With not knowing really how the season is going to look, it's hard to set, numerical goals and win totals and, what we want to do. But I'd say with the talent that we have, if we're able to work hard every day, I think a lot of special things could happen. So I guess my immediate goal is just like being a voice for these guys every day, being loud and working hard every day.
Okay. And Coach, to wrap this up, I'll throw that same question over to you.
Yeah, I've never shied away from that. I think that this is a talented group that if we get to be in a situation where we can consistently play and things go smoothly, I think our talent is as good as anybody in the league and that we can win. I think our maturity and our culture and our character is good enough that we can sustain the challenges that might come up and we can be talented and good at the end.
All right. Well, that's our time for today. I want to thank you, Coach Peary, and also junior guard Ian Burke. We appreciate you today on the Big Sky Conference Basketball Media Day, and we look forward to seeing you on the court during the Big Sky season. Welcome to the Big Sky Conference Women's Basketball Media Day. I'm Mike Lund, and we are talking today with Portland State Vikings head coach Lynn Kennedy and senior point guard Kylie Jimenez. And Coach Kennedy is starting his 6th season at Portland State, and Kylie is beginning her 4th season as point guard. She's a 5'6" native of Thornton, Colorado. She was the Big Sky Freshman of the Year in her first season, and as a junior, earned third team All Big Sky Conference. And we'll start today, Coach, with you. And probably the most obvious question, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been something like 7 months since you've been able to work with your team and your players. How have you been able to maintain some continuity in your program?
Well, a lot of Zoom meetings. I think we're over that. But no, I think a lot of it has to go back to previous years and all of our workouts that we've done together. Just knowing that we have veterans that are coming back that have been in the program, they know our workouts, they know our routine, and they've been able to either do that with other teammates or on their own, early on their own, and then throughout the summer with other teammates. And then really in the last couple of weeks when we haven't been able to get into the gym yet or weight training, they've been able to go on their own in small groups and social distance and with face mask and being able to condition and do some of those workouts outside. So it's been a definite team effort as far as, our Zoom meetings, kind of going through playbook and some team bonding things, but also, the team working out together and kind of bonding together as we've gone the last couple of weeks, trying to get ready for when we are on the court and back in the weight room.
Okay, Kylie, I'll direct that question to you. How have you been able to work out, stay sharp during this long layoff? Normally you'd have a little team time in the summer, some practices, some team workouts. What's been the challenge for you?
I think it's been nice being back and having other people to work out with. It was definitely hard, like doing things on your own, getting out, conditioning and stuff like that. But the coaches, the training staff, everyone's been very helpful, giving us workouts and giving us things that we can do, like not getting in a weight room or a gym. So.
Okay, Coach, you've lost some talented players the past 2 seasons. There's no doubt about that. But you have a real strong core coming back with Kylie, Desiree Hansen, Tatiana Stroin. They were last year's top 3 scorers. So how important will their impact be on the team this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to rely heavily on them, just in that veteran leadership, part of the team. They've been through the system. They know our program. They know what we want as far as being on the court. That's, like I talked about before, it's helped the last 2 weeks having them, be in that leadership role and, just take the team and do the workouts outside and kind of get through that on their own. So, it's going to be a balanced effort this year. I think, having, some veterans that have experience coming back and being part of, our winning program and winning the championship, but also having that youth come in too and give us kind of that spark. And I'm excited about the players that we have coming in as freshmen. And it's going to be a balance of, somebody new is going to probably step up every night. And that's going to be exciting to watch throughout the year, because I think, in the past, it's been maybe 1 or 2 people that we've kind of keyed in on as our top players. And I think this year it's going to be, a variety of players that can step up any night.
Kylie, how much confidence do you have? Obviously, you've played now for a few years with Desiree and Tatiana. How much confidence do you have in those 2 teammates and what you 3 are able to do on the court?
Well, all the confidence is there with them. I feel like we understand each other as players, and I think this year more like we've bonded off the court more than anything, and I just think that'll help.
And Kylie, what have you been doing over the course of time in the last year or two to improve your game and the value of your game as you've developed as a college athlete?
I think just watching film with the coaches, finding the things that I can improve on to help the team, not only myself. I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay, Coach, getting back to your team now, as I mentioned, you've lost some pretty talented players in the last 2 years. In particular, players with size. Most recently, Jordan Stotler, who's now playing professionally in Germany. She's the all-time shot blocking leader here at Portland State, and she finished last year. So as we look at the roster, you won't quite have the same size as in the past. I know you like to play that zone, have some big bodies in there around the basket. What adjustments do you make this year, or do you make adjustments?
We'll make a few adjustments. I think that's, as coaching staff, we've been able to kind of take the summer and the fall and look at different things that we can do. I think the game definitely changes for us this year. We don't have that size, but we still have some athleticism. We still have some length at different positions that will help us. I think we can be a little bit more attacking as far as our defense, put a little bit more pressure on opposing teams. So I think that will be different, as we look into this year. Hopefully we can create that intensity on defense and be a better rebounding team, and kind of take it really back to the offensive side where we've been really excelled at the last couple of years, and continue to grow as a team that can shoot from the outside, but also attack the basket and get easy shots at the basket too. So again, I talked about balance before. It's going to be that way both on the defense and offensive end. We'll lose some length, but I think we'll gain it in other areas.
Okay, we've alluded to the newcomers. You signed, I believe it is 5 freshmen to this year's class. Maybe give us a little introduction to some of those newcomers, or maybe 1 or 2 that you think might stand out.
Yeah, I think they all bring something different. I think that's usually what we try to do in recruiting, is not get the same player. If you look at our roster, we've got different players that fit different needs as you go through our roster. So, Morgan from Coquille, Oregon, she's just a dynamic player that, it fits in that role where she can post up if needed, but she can also be on the outside and play on the outside and be able to attack. And I think definitely her 3-point shot has developed this last year, just watch her in high school and club basketball. So we're excited about her. Itzi from Madrid, Spain. She comes in as really a talented guard that is a strong player that can get to the basket defensively. She's got that fire and that intensity that we need when we are a little bit more aggressive on defense. Rebounding, I think, is one of the keys that she'll add as far as a guard play. But overall, she's just a really talented player. We're really excited about her coming in and contributing right away. Jenna from Oakland, California, she's going to hopefully provide a lot of shooting for us. She can score it. I mean, what I saw every time I watched her play this last year was the ability to score, shoot from the outside. She brings another leadership part of the game as far as just her knowledge of the game, what she brings as a teammate. And so I think that's going to be exciting to watch her grow as a player and a leader on this team. Nakia from Linwood, Washington, played on a great team and really took a different role for them. She played a lot of point guard for them last year, but she's got ability to score too. She's a dynamic player as far as getting to the basket, multiple 20 plus, points per game last year. And so I think has the ability to score and get to the basket as well as shoot from the outside. And then to kind of help us in the inside as far as our inside play, Riley from Cottage Grove, who played at Sheldon High School last year, gives us some length, 6'3". She's got, I think her best years are yet to come. I think she's a player that can really grow into her athleticism. Rebounding is one of her strengths right now. And I think offensively and defensively, she can grow into what we do, but just loves the game. And she's an exciting player to watch. So, when you bring those 3 in and kind of tie them with our veterans and then our sophomore class that we have coming back, it's exciting to think about this year and just the balance that we'll have. I think that's the key that we'll talk about, throughout this year, is the balance that we'll have offensively and defensively with this team.
All right, Kylie, a few seconds left. What would make this a successful season for you and your teammates?
I feel like just winning would. I think not being able to practice yet, not being together as a team, just to have the success will show what we are. So.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you. We have to cut it off here. Thanks to Coach Lynn Kennedy, point guard Kylie Jimenez for joining us today. And we look forward to Big Sky Conference basketball.